There is a silent moment in every man's life when stimulation stops working and noise loses its grip, and the old habits no longer soothe the pressure building inside him. In that moment, he realizes something essential has been leaking for years, and what remains is not emptiness but unused force, waiting for direction rather than release. This force is not aggression nor frustration, but raw vitality that has been trained to escape instead of concentrate. Modern men are taught to discharge tension instantly to avoid discomfort, and in doing so they never develop containment. Containment is not suppression. It is mastery, and mastery begins when the man chooses presence over relief. Before we dive into the secrets of semen retention power, make sure you subscribe now and join our Telegram family. The link's in the description. Don't miss the exclusive insights and daily motivation that will keep your energy, focus, and discipline unstoppable. Your success journey starts today. The feminine has always responded to presence long before words or logic enter the scene. Attraction forms beneath language at the level of nervous systems and coherence. A man may speak perfectly yet feel hollow, while another says little and alters the atmosphere entirely because his energy is gathered rather than scattered. Semen retention is not a moral stance or a denial of pleasure. It is a strategic decision to stop bleeding life force through unconscious habit. When retention begins, the body protests because it has been conditioned to constant escape. Yet beneath the unrest, something steadier starts to assemble quietly. As retention continues, the nervous system recalibrates. Breathing deepens, posture aligns, and attention sharpens without effort. The man feels heavier in himself, more rooted, more deliberate. This weight is not stiffness, but gravity, and gravity is felt instantly by the feminine, who is exquisitely attuned to stability beneath motion. Most men mistake attraction for performance. They rehearse confidence, copy gestures, and chase reactions. Yet performance collapses under pressure because it is borrowed. Retention strips away performance by forcing authenticity. A man can no longer fake coherence when his energy is fully present inside him. The feminine does not desire harmless men, nor does she desire chaos. She desires a man who can stand calmly at the edge of intensity without collapsing. Retention cultivates this ability by teaching the man to sit inside pressure rather than escape it. That capacity becomes his center. A man without a center is pulled by every stimulus, every mood, every opinion. Retention forges a center through discipline, not force. Through days of tension held and redirected, the man develops internal consistency. This consistency registers as trustworthiness even before interaction deepens. Trust at the nervous system level precedes emotional trust. Women feel safe around men who regulate themselves because nothing needs to be managed. No reassurance is demanded. No emotional volatility leaks out. Presence replaces need, and needlessness is magnetic. Retention transforms desire from hunger into direction. Hunger seeks consumption. Direction invites connection. The feminine responds to direction because it implies safety, movement, and purpose. A man who retains no longer chases attention. He moves toward his own path, and others feel drawn into that motion. This shift alters eye contact, pacing, and silence. Silence becomes charged instead of awkward because the man is no longer seeking approval. Pauses stretch comfortably, and the space between words carries weight. The feminine senses this immediately and leans in without understanding why. The body recognizes coherence faster than thought. Retention brings coherence by aligning impulse with intention. A man no longer reacts instantly to desire but allows it to circulate upward into posture, voice, and gaze. This circulation is felt as calm authority rather than suppressed tension authority without pause. It is rare because most authority is borrowed from status or volume. Retention creates authority that does not announce itself. It emerges from self-command. A man who commands himself does not need to dominate others, and that restraint signals strength. Women test not to provoke, but to locate the center. They pull away, challenge, or destabilize to see what remains. A retained man does not chase nor harden. He stays present and grounded. This response reveals depth, and depth sustains attraction beyond novelty. Novelty excites briefly, but depth endures. Retention builds depth by removing compulsive behaviors that fragment attention. As distractions fall away, the man becomes more available, not more needy. Availability without hunger creates polarity, and polarity fuels desire. Most men release tension before it transforms. They trade momentary relief for long-term dilution. Retention delays release, allowing pressure to mature into presence. This maturation is uncomfortable, yet powerful because it produces substance rather than emptiness. As the man adapts his movements, slow not from hesitation but from precision. Every action carries intention. The feminine perceives this as confidence, because confidence is not speed, it is certainty. Certainty arises when energy is consolidated rather than dispersed. Retention also alters emotional range. Emotions are felt fully without spilling. A man learns to experience desire, anger, and affection without being ruled by them. This emotional containment allows intimacy to deepen because nothing overwhelms the moment. Intimacy thrives where presence is uninterrupted. Retention supports this by reducing compulsive mental drift. The man listens, fully responds, deliberately, and remains anchored in the body. This embodied attention is rare in an overstimulated world and therefore deeply attractive. Women feel alive around men who are alive within themselves. Retention rekindles inner vitality by ending the cycle of depletion. The man begins to generate energy rather than borrow it from external validation. This self-sourcing changes relational dynamics completely. When a man is self-sourced, he does not seek completion through another. He shares fullness rather than demanding fulfillment. The feminine senses this and relaxes because the interaction is no longer a transaction. It becomes a meeting. Meetings create resonance. Resonance arises when one stable system invites another into harmony. Retention stabilizes the masculine system, allowing the feminine to unfold naturally without resistance or fear. This unfolding is where desire deepens into connection. Retention also sharpens boundaries. A man becomes clear about his direction and does not compromise himself for approval. This clarity creates respect. Respect fuels attraction more reliably than charm because it signals self-knowledge. Self-knowledge emerges when a man spends time with himself, fully charged. Retention removes escape routes, forcing introspection. Through this process, illusions burn away, leaving something simpler and stronger. Essence replaces persona. Essence cannot be imitated. It is felt immediately through presence. The feminine responds to essence because it is real and grounded. Retention uncovers essence by stripping away excess behavior and reactive patterns. As essence emerges, the man becomes quieter externally, while louder internally. His inner world stabilizes and his outer actions align. This alignment reduces friction in interactions and creates ease. Ease is attractive because it allows desire to breathe. Retention does not make a man distant, it makes him accessible without being porous. He can engage deeply without losing himself. This balance between openness and solidity is the masculine polarity the feminine responds to instinctively. If this video gave you real value, tap the thanks button. Your support helps me keep creating deeper content like this. Every thanks is a spark that keeps this mission alive. Your support means more than you know. Sexual energy under retention transforms from urgency into depth. Touch slows, eye contact intensifies, and connection deepens. Because energy circulates rather than escapes, the feminine feels met rather than consumed, and this meeting sustains desire. Sustained desire grows where presence is continuous. Retention supports continuity by reducing fragmentation. The man remains himself across moments rather than shifting to please or perform. Consistency builds trust, and trust amplifies attraction. Retention also refines purpose. Energy, once lost, becomes fuel for direction. Work, creativity, and leadership sharpen because vitality is available. Purpose gives the masculine trajectory, and trajectory invites companionship. Women are drawn to men who are going somewhere, not because of ambition alone, but because direction implies stability. Retention reinforces direction by aligning impulse with long-term intention. This alignment creates calm momentum. The man moves steadily, without rush. The feminine feels this momentum and senses safety within motion. Safety allows surrender, and surrender deepens intimacy. Surrender cannot be demanded. It emerges when the environment feels stable. Retention creates this environment by anchoring the masculine internally before seeking connection externally. As the man embodies this state, attraction becomes effortless because effort was never the source. Presence was retention simply clears the interference that blocked presence from being felt. The man stops asking what women want because the question dissolves. He becomes the answer through embodiment rather than explanation. Attraction unfolds naturally without strategy. Retention ultimately leads the man back to himself. Through discipline and patience, he rediscovers his core. The core radiates quietly and draws connection without force. This is not a technique, but a transformation. It requires time, consistency, and willingness to sit inside discomfort. Yet the reward is profound because the man no longer leaks his power. When power is contained, it becomes presence. When presence is felt, desire follows. This sequence has always been true beneath culture and language. The feminine has always responded to men who are awake, grounded, and whole. Retention is one path to that wholeness because it teaches responsibility for one's own energy. Responsibility creates freedom. Freedom expressed calmly becomes magnetism. This magnetism is subtle yet unmistakable. In the end, attraction is not something to chase, it is something to embody. Retention supports embodiment by consolidating life force into being rather than release. A man who retains does not perform masculinity, he inhabits it. And that inhabitation is what the feminine has always recognized.